Hello and welcome to the Mom Spaghetti Podcast, episode 0, I guess. This is my introduction episode. I want to tell you about who I am, what I'm about, and more importantly, just what the hell is going on here on this podcast. Well, there are two issues in my life I think made me the lovable/hateable train wreck that I am today. My relationship with my mother, and my issues with food. Thus, Mom Spaghetti was born. Plus, I really haven't seen a Mom Spaghetti meme to date that hasn't at least gotten a chuckle out of me, if we're being honest. I should start with a disclaimer. Mom Spaghetti is not your mom's weight loss podcast. There'll be swearing, cursing, cussing, profanity, however you want to say it. It all sounds stupid to me. Adult topics, heavy stuff, no pun intended. Giggles, general inappropriateness, and maybe even some Farrah-style ugly crying. You probably will get triggered at some point, so be aware of all that. Without further ado, drop the kids off at soccer, bitches, 'cause shit's about to get real. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. My name's Kristen. I'm 30-something, and I've battled with adenos and binge eating disorder all of my life, from as young as I can remember. I want to openly say I am a survivor of childhood sexual abuse and neglect, which I think contributed greatly to my issues with my food and my weight. Now, just because I'm comfortable talking about that doesn't mean everyone is, and I understand that. That's completely fine. I'm willing to talk about it. Maybe some of my guests are not willing to talk about it, and that's okay too. I'm not going to push the issue with anybody, but if you want a platform to talk about it, by all means, this can be your platform. I just wanted you to be aware of that. I'm also pretty open about the relationship with my mother. My mother suffers from mental illness, and I guess suffering might not be the right word. She doesn't really manage it. Wasn't until my 30s, actually, that I realized that there was something very wrong with our relationship. I always knew there was something very wrong. I guess I should say it wasn't until my 30s that I realized what it was. Now, she's been diagnosed as bipolar, but also she has very narcissistic/sociopathic tendencies. And after I got sick last year, I decided that I did not want to have a relationship with her anymore. It's called going no contact in the narcissistic community. It was for my best life, basically. I had no choice. I figure if I get cancer and she's not going to get her shit together, it's probably never going to happen. I do have to say that while the initial no contact is pretty difficult, there's a lot of guilt associated, especially when you have a parent who made you feel guilty for basically everything your whole life. But I don't want to make the whole podcast about her, because that's exactly what she would love. What I want to make this podcast about is weight. I mean, all of the things that go along with weight as well. Losing weight, gaining weight, being fat, getting less fat, dealing with the changes in your body, dealing with not being able to see enough changes in your body, body dysmorphia, eating disorders, all of those things that make us who we are, and in a way that people can relate to. I'm not trying to knock any other podcast out there. I'm just saying, especially the podcasts about weight loss surgery in particular, some of them are so clinical and so boring. And as a listen to podcasters myself, I mean, I like exciting shit. I like Sword and Scale. I like My Favorite Murder. I like podcasts that make me want to keep listening long after the commercial breaks about MeUndies or, I don't know, what's the other one? The food one. You know what I'm talking about. Blue Apron. So I wanted to make this for us. For those of us out there who are weirdos and like exciting, maybe true crimey, comedy, really dark shit podcasts. That's what this is going to be about. So if that's not your jam, I completely understand. I think it's going to be great, but, you know, like I said, aforementioned, I am a weirdo, so. Now, let's get into the weight of things. Podcast pun. My weight has held me back from almost everything in my life. To be honest, I should say, my feelings about my weight have held me back from almost everything in my life. They made me consistently settle for less than I deserved. I made bad choices. I didn't have any goals. I was afraid to do well, because I had gotten the message all of my life that I was unworthy of anyone's effort, including my own, in both words and actions. In high school, I was the biggest among my friends. Well, I'm only 5 foot tall, so to clarify, I mean the fattest. Look, I was a teenager in the 90s, okay? There was no such thing as body positivity. There was no such thing as acceptance and healthy at every size. There were no such thing as good stores having plus size sections. If you were plus size, your clothing looked like something your great aunt's couch would have, or maybe something like the president of the local scrapbooking club might wear to church. It was hard as fuck out there for a fat girl in high school in the 90s. Unless you enjoy being a secret girlfriend or sitting on a bench in the mall while your friend shopped for crop tops, which, I gotta tell you, I really did not. I listened to a lot of Alanis Morissette and Marilyn Manson. Let's be clear about something, okay? I was angry. I was an angry teen. I blasted 9 Inch Nails because, damn it, I wanted to be heard, okay? But also, like, don't look at me and don't listen to me and don't pay any attention to me. Please leave me alone. In my early 20s, shit really hit the fan. I fell in love with a sociopath. I know, contain your shock. Long story short, the relationship fell apart. I got pregnant with my son. It was a dumpster fire, the whole thing. Ultimately, he took off, and I was left with nothing but a baby and my multitude of mental illnesses and general anxieties. It was in the aftermath of all of that I discovered the magical world of restricting. I would go days without eating anything. I would chew and spit, all the tricks. For the first time in my life, I was losing weight, and I was addicted to the feeling. I had never dieted hardcore before. Before all that, I should say. And losing weight amazed me. It gave me this immense sense of power, and I had never had a feeling of power in my life up until then. No one was worried about me because I was still technically overweight, which is scary, because people are uneducated, and they think that eating disorders are not possible if you're fat. They think you have to be super skinny to be anorexic or have anoretic tendencies, or to be bulimic. And the truth is, you don't. That is 100% bullshit. We'll be delving into that extensively in the coming episodes, so don't fret. I've restricted in various forms ever since that. Over the last 15 years, I would, without fail, go through phases of restriction and binging, losing weight and gaining weight back, feeling like garbage and repeating the cycle year after year. I hated myself more every time. I used to dread the winter, because in the summer and spring would be my months of motivation. I would do well, I would be on plan, I would lose weight. And then the cooler weather would creep in, and I would go into what I call my Winnie the Pooh phase. And that means I hide in my cave, stuff my mouth out of the honey jar, and rarely wear pants. I got to the point where I was afraid of fall. Fall is my favorite holiday, guys. I'm about as basic a bitch as it gets. Pumpkin spice everything would mark the beginning of my demise for the year. Now, I'm pretty new to weight loss surgery. I gotta tell you, that didn't go away, but we'll get into that later. So, Kristen, what changed? Well, I'm glad you asked. You didn't ask, you say? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. In February of 2017, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Yeah, I know. Shitty, right? At the time of diagnosis, I was around 180 pounds. I was right at the beginning of a gain-back cycle, right at the beginning of my Winnie the Pooh phase for the year 2017. I had gotten down to 165 that July, which was pretty small for me, honestly. My lowest recorded weight is 157, and when I say recorded, it means it's burned into my mind as the lowest weight I have been since I have been an adult. I remember being 12 years old and stepping on a scale and seeing the numbers 142. I was at the Museum of Science and Industry. I don't know what the display was or why they would have a scale there, but my dad was there. And when I saw that number and I looked up at him, he made this face. And the face just said, "Ugh, that's not good." And that was the first time in my life that I ever thought, oh my God, like, something is wrong with me. I don't think I'm what I should be. And I'm not knocking my dad, okay? My dad has since passed away. He's been gone since I was 30 years old. And I loved him to death. He was much more accepting of me than my mother. But he struggled with weight all his life, too. And I think seeing that weight on the scale at his 12-year-old daughter just kind of freaked him out a little bit. But back to the cancer. 4 surgeries and a chemo schedule and a major case of the fuck it's later, by the following July, I had gone from 165 to about, highest recorded weight, 237. Yeah, so that was crazy. Remember when I said I was 5 foot tall? Yeah, 237 on 5 feet tall, not a great combo. No offense, guys, but I was pretty fucking fat, okay? I was depressed, I was bald, I was miserable, I was in constant pain, and I felt like absolute shit about myself. I had more than enough of this shit by that point. Fast forward to March 5th, 2018, after 6 months of a medically supervised weight loss surgery, I was 216 pounds, and I decided to undergo vertical sleeve gastrectomy surgery. Now, I didn't decide that day. Obviously, I had decided 6 months earlier, and my insurance said, well, let's see if you can lose any weight in that 6 months. And I did. I dabbled. But honestly, I wasn't fully prepared. Again, we'll get into that later. Why did I get weight loss surgery? Well, that's simple. I wanted to take the easy way out. Okay, guys, I'm just kidding. And if I ever hear you say that, I will punch you in your mouth because you're fucking dumb. Don't ever say that to a weight loss surgery patient. We will lose our shit. I digress. Real talk, I was physically and mentally spent, and having excess weight on me made it difficult to notice one of the main symptoms of ovarian cancer, a bloated lower belly. That blew my mind. The fact that I had carried my weight in my stomach. What if I hadn't listened to my body? What if I hadn't paid attention to the signs? What if I had not forced my boyfriend to take me to the emergency room that day? This could have fucking killed me, guys. Being fat could have kept me from knowing I had cancer. Even when I say it out loud now, my mind is still a little blown. It was beyond me that I could have walked around with what turned out to be an almost 2-pound tumor in my pelvic region and not notice it. So that, among the fact that I was beyond tired of this shit and it was far past time to get healthy, I was ready to live my best life, which is a phase I don't really understand, but it really sounds great. Among the things that make me who I am, I'm a cancer survivor, a trauma survivor, a bariatric patient, and an advocate for mental health, and one of the most awkward human beings you will ever meet in life. I documented my cancer story, not the journey. Can we please stop with the word journey? Please. I documented it from diagnosis on, and I try to make new videos every week about my weight loss on YouTube. Newsflash, weight loss surgery did not cure my eating disorders. I struggle to this day, and I learn to live with it and manage it every day. I'm going to have to do that for the rest of my life. I think it would be beneficial for more people to talk about the aspect of food addiction, especially people that have had weight loss surgery, because I naively thought it might help with that, but to be honest with you guys, it really didn't. I'm way more vigilant now. I work on learning how to love myself and what it means to be healthy, mentally and physically. I've never been a healthy weight. Never. Not in my adult life. And I'm excited to get there. I want to share my story, and I want to share all of your stories too. Which brings us to Mom Spaghetti. I'll be sharing with whoever wants to listen all the grisly details, real talk, as well as the good stuff in my life regarding weight loss, all that comes with it. This is not solely for people who've had weight loss surgery either, because A, that's not inclusive enough for me, and B, I have a bomb-ass group of people I want to introduce you to. Some of them haven't had weight loss surgery. Some of them have just lost weight. Some of them haven't lost weight, but they've struggled with weight all of their lives. Some of them have narcissistic parents. Some of them fell in love with a narcissist. All of this shit we're going to talk about. I hope that that appeals to you, and I hope that it can help you and gives you some hope that, hey, you know what? Other people struggle with this shit every day. B, I'm only 7 months out of surgery. I have far more experience with the other things than factoring in surgery. When it comes to the issue of being various degrees of fat, I have a fucking PhD in the struggle, so I'm more than happy to talk about that. Here's the deal. Some of you may know me through social media as Survive, Sleeve, Slay, and some of you might not. That's okay too. I'm not remotely well known, believe me, but the social media weight loss surgery community is relatively small. On both of the platforms, Instagram and YouTube, as well as a Facebook page that is almost as deserted as the Neverland Ranch. I mean, who uses Facebook for anything other than Messenger anymore? I'm Survive, Sleep, Slay. Oh, you've never heard of me? Well, that's okay. This isn't just about me. I know some amazing people that I have met through social media. Some of them I have, like I said, known for years. I want you to meet these people. They have stories to tell. And I can tell you, in years of therapy, I have discovered how amazing it feels to be validated. To find someone or a lot of someones that you can relate to. To hear stories that make you go, holy shit, that is totally me. That's why I'm doing this. We all lead busy lives. We have obligations, responsibilities, stress. Your health is the foundation of all of these things. Please take it from me. I saved my own life. Story on YouTube, like and subscribe each. But for real, I hope listening helps you get through this, because this shit is hard. We all have days where we feel like we're not going to get through it. We just literally cannot. And you know what? Not with just weight loss surgery, with life. I hope that this gives you a little bit of insight. I hope that it makes you laugh. I hope it makes you feel like there's camaraderie among us. I hope you reach out. I hope I get famous so I never have to go to work again. Forget I said that last part. Laughing, but kind of serious. So plug in your aux cord or activate your Bluetooth if you have a nicer car than me. And let's talk some shit. You can follow me on Instagram at survive.sleep.slay and YouTube at survivesleepslay. Listen, guys, I'm doing this all on my own because it's something that I'm really passionate about. If you want to be a guest, reach out to me. Don't hesitate. Email me at momspaghettipodcast.com or reach out to me on any of these social media platforms. I promise you I will do my best to respond as quickly as possible. I look forward to going on this adventure. I cannot wait to do this. And I hope you're interested. If you are, let me know. And I'll talk to you soon.